bantamweight fight here between Marlon Chito Vera, plus 162 for Chito Vera, minus 162 for Cory Sandhagen. Chito Vera on a pretty good streak, 4 of his last 5, and he's won 4 in a row. Cory Sandhagen getting the win against Song Yadong in his last fight out. Over-under set at 4.5 rounds, minus 135 for the over, plus 135 for the under. Odds courtesy of BetOpenly, as always. Person to person, no house, the best fight odds out there that you can ever get. They are adding contests available as well, so make sure to hop on those. If you like parlays, join the contest instead. You got better odds there. Who do you like in this one? This is a really good fight. I'm really looking forward to seeing this one. I'm sure everyone is, but who do you like?
Yeah, no, this is a great matchup, and I've gone back and forth a little bit for multiple reasons, but it's one of those fights that no matter which side you pick, you're going to be a little uncomfortable come fight time, because both guys are so good. The one thing that jumps out to me on Chito Vera's side is, I mean, he's got 10 submission wins, 8 knockouts, 4 decisions, never been finished, but he does have 7 decision losses. Cory Sandhagen, obviously, I don't even want to say he's hit a rough patch, because his losses are Aljamain Sterling, TJ Dillashaw, and Petr Yan. I mean, say what you want about Petr Yan. That's 3 of the best bantamweights in the world. But, you know, Chito being a decent underdog right now, I mean, is it kind of impossible not to throw something on him? The one reason I say that is because he hasn't lost since Jose Aldo. He's rattled off wins over Davey Grant, Frankie Edgar, Rob Font, Dominic Cruz. Let's see, a knockout over Frankie Edgar and a knockout over Cruz. So, I mean, it's almost in one of those situations where, I mean, you kind of have to keep riding Chito until he proves you wrong and loses. We've seen Sandhagen lose a few times recently. Had that fight with Song Yadong, and he looked really good in that fight too. He got the doctor stoppage that cuts. But right now, man, I think I'm leaning towards the dog and Chito, especially for that power. Obviously, he's got power. The one thing I worry about is his kind of takes a little bit to get going type of style. I know he tries to read guys early in the fights, and as the fights goes on, he puts it on them. And honestly, I think with Sandhagen's kind of style and movements, I think this is just another fight where Chito's going to see a guy like Dom Cruz. You know, they got kind of similar styles in there, both well-rounded, both kind of awkward with their movements and angles they cut. So Chito's just seen this style a fight ago, so he's going to be a little more prepared. And with Cory Sandhagen, man, he's one of those fighters. It's always going to be one of the best in the division, but might lose here and there because the division is so stacked. But yeah, man, I got to ride the win streak of Chito Vera. And I don't think he gets it done by knockout. I think this is a close one, goes all the way down to the wire. It is 5 rounds, so I could see him drop in the first round, maybe the second. But as the fight goes on, start landing some bigger shots and try to sway the judges in his direction.
Yeah, that's a tough one, like you said, because I could see either guy coming through, and it's tough to pick against Chito. But this was originally supposed to be at the Apex, so the smaller cage, you'd probably favor Chito Vera because Cory's going to be bouncing around a lot. And like you said, Chito just fought Dominic Cruz. A lot of the same movements that he'll see with Cory Sandhagen, a lot of, in and out, bouncing around side to side. But Cory has also seen a similar opponent in Petr Yan. I think Petr Yan and Chito are very similar in the fact that they're a little bit more flat-footed, higher guard. They're going to get their reads as the fight goes on, do better in 5-round fights. Cory wasn't able to get the win there. So that gives me a little bit more confidence in taking Chito in this one. Cory looked good in his last fight out against Song Yadong, and then cut him open with that nasty cut. I think it was the second round. And then Song tried to stay in there, but he really couldn't do much after that. But if you look in that first round, like Song caught him a couple times. Petr Yan caught him a couple times. TJ Dillashaw beat him with a nasty cut and a torn up knee. So I'm like, right. That's shout out to TJ for that. Cause I mean, whatever you want to say about him with the EPO and everything, that takes a dog to like get a win with a ripped up knee and a cut that you can barely see out of an eye. That's pretty insane. And for Cory to lose that fight and then get an interim title shot, it was interesting to say the least. But goes out there and loses to Petr Yan, puts on a pretty good first round, but then Petr Yan got the reads. It just seemed like he had the timing down. And he cracked Cory a couple times. Cory's got a good chin, but he can get touched up, like not to the point where Chito Vera does. Like Chito, he could take shots. He can go the full 5 rounds. He's going to have that power late in the fight because he doesn't do the same amount of movement that Cory does. That's going to tire him out. So he's going to be there for all 5 rounds. The problem with that, though, as you alluded to, he's probably going to drop that first round, like or two. In the Dominic Cruz fight, if you look at the judges' scorecards, he lost the first 2 rounds and then won the third round and then knocked him out in the fourth round. So it's tough to take a guy that you're probably going to lose the first round. Like he's going to have to win 3 of the last 4 rounds at least. So that it's tough. But at the same time, if he catches him in the first round, catches him in the second round, gets a knockdown, that's usually going to be a win for that round. And when I look at my dogs, if I want to invest money in an underdog, I want him to be able to win by decision, by knockout, and by submission. And I think those are all on the table for Chito Vera. So I think that's a pretty solid play. Like, as much as I think Cory Sandhagen could just go out there and avoid everything and win a decision, Chito Vera has done it, 4 times in a row here where he just plays his game plan, picks his shots, is able to land the ones that count. And if you want to call it a fluke with like the Frankie Edgar front kick and everything, because imagine if he doesn't hit that front kick, we're probably not here right now. But at the same time, he did. So I can't really knock him for hitting it. So I'm going to go with Chito Vera. It's probably going to be a popular pick this week because he's a fan favorite. But Cory Sandhagen's super athletic, super talented. And I wouldn't be shocked if he goes out there and gets a decision win and gets back on track. I'm just interested to see who wins, like what's next for them in the bantamweight division, because this is a big fight. And looking forward to seeing it live as well.
It's a great one to be at live, yeah.
Got anything else on that one?
Yeah, the only other thing I'd say, it's just like Chito always finds a way to win. Like regardless of what's going on in the fight,
yeah,
he always finds a way. And honestly, this fight, if it goes to the ground, we're going to see some extremely high level grappling and jiu-jitsu. I mean, both guys are damn good on the ground. I don't think either of them get enough credit for it. So if it hits the mat, I could see this being super interesting as well. But yeah, man, Chito's just always finding a way, like I said. And at the end of the day, if he's going to be the one that's the underdog, and he's the guy that is coming off some big finishes, some big wins, I'm going to have to stick with him just for the price alone.
Yeah, and Cory lost the decisions to Petr Yan and TJ Dillashaw. He outstruck him in both of those fights by the total significant strike numbers. So you don't have to outstrike him to win a decision. And I think if it does go to the judges' scorecards, the fans are going to be cheering when Chito lands. I just think that's how it's going to go. I mean, San Antonio is more of a Hispanic culture there, and they're going to look at Chito and be like, yeah, I want that guy, even if they don't know him. But a lot of people know him, and a lot of people will be cheering for him. So I will probably be cheering for him as well. Really looking forward to that. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll take Chito, though.